Bonjour. Bonjour. Hola. How are we all doing? Right, that's all done. What's up, George? What's up, Marie? What's up, Void? Milo and Farah. How are y'all? How are y'all? Oh, Marie's got new branding. I'll have to have a quick look after the stream. Talk me through it, Marie. What is it? I've not seen it as of yet. Right, switch this around. Let's see if we get any audio issues today. Can you hear me loud and clear? Are we good? I think we're good, are we not? What's up, Jay? How you doing? What we're making today. So I think I'm gonna do. I've got two sort of ideas. One of my most viewed, well, actually no, second most viewed tutorial is one that I told you I always did on a whim. I'll actually quickly show you, and just give you an idea what I'm talking about. Which was this one. Let's just flick this around so you can see. So this particular tutorial was done, and I've said this loads of times, and it blows my mind that I think this one's had like over 20,000 views. It's my second most viewed video. It's organically probably my most viewed video because the other one is the Easter cutout tutorial, so people jumped on that really quickly. But this one continues to do views. I get tagged in it probably every day, and somebody else doing it every single day. And the story behind it was that I did it on a whim. I literally knew the palette I wanted to use, and I thought, I don't know what I'm going to shoot today, let's just put something together. And it's the only video I've ever done it in when I've gone, let's just draw something, but kind of live, and obviously cut out the mistakes, but also just draw it and see where we end up with it. And we just mashed something together, and then it came out here. So so what I want to try and do is kind of maybe draw something that's got a similar kind of approach, in a sense that there's like a focus of like maybe like a planet in the distance, and then some sort of very simple landscape down in front of it. So something like that I think I'm going to use. And then the other idea is a robot. If we get time to do it, I will. But yeah, that's what we're going to try and attempt to do. But we're going to use the Coolers app again. So we used it last week on stream. I want to just sort of show it again because it's really fun to use. It's quite nice because it forces me to use colours I might not have been thinking of. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use the Coolers app and make up some sort of escape like that with a kind of space oriented. But again, I just drew this off a whim, and it's just nuts. I literally put something together real quick because I knew you have to be consistent with YouTube, and I think I even left it to the Thursday. I didn't have time, and so the video was going up on the Friday. I was like, I've just got to get something done. Just did it on stream, and it explained it as if I'd done it before, and then it just became my most popular video, which is cool. Void, you say, by the way, Joel, where did you get that drawing glove? I'm an artist that would love one. So this one's from Pen.Tips. There is a link in the description down below if you want to use that. It's an affiliate link, so should you buy one from Pen.Tips, I'll get a little bit of kickback as well. So it's a way of supporting the channel should you use it. But theirs is pretty sweet. It's got it's really dark, you can't really see. Hang on, will it capture the light in any way? No, it's actually doing a good job today of actually capturing the scene, so I'm going to leave it. But the glove itself is split up into can you see that little bit of stitch in there running through the little finger here? It is kind of like slightly thicker on the side, so it's a bit thinner towards the top and then a little bit thicker here, so you end up with a really nice soft feel when you just straight across the screen, which is cool. Milo, that art is one of my favourite ones, Joel. Yeah, it's one of mine as well, to be honest with you, but it's just like it's just, again, just a complete random fluke that it just did so well. Maybe it's the color scheme, maybe it's I think it's probably the reflection. And I spoke about this last week, that drawing something and keeping it simple and minimal, and not, in my mind, adding too much, and just peeling back a layer is actually a better thing to do, because like here, there's nothing here in the horizon line, and truth be told, I look at that and I think that needs something maybe here and here, but it doesn't. And again, it's about sort of going back on yourself and trying to just simplify and just go back to the basics. What's up, Vinny the Kid? Let's go. Finally made a stream. It's been a minute. Joined Patreon as well. Hope all is good with you, brother. I appreciate you joining the family, my friend. There you go, a little yay on the stream. I appreciate you, mate, and also dropping in on the stream. Good to see you. Right, so let's go ahead and let's use the Coolers app. So I think I've got it open here. I do. So if you're not already familiar with Coolers, this app is it's a free app on the store, and what it would do is it would generate you a palette out of random colors. So you just hit generate every time, and it will give you 5 different colors for you to build a palette off of, potentially. So you can just randomly keep generating until you find a palette that you like the look of. So I'm trying to, in my mind, maybe find like a bit of a retro palette, something a bit unsaturated, a bit of that retro vibe to it in my mind. So we're just going to keep rolling through until we find something that maybe fits what I'm kind of envisioning. That's pretty close. And the brighter the tones, the more it's not really fitting with what I'm thinking. There's some quite nice tones. I always like a blue and a blue with a pink, or blue with a purple. It's always quite a consistent colour palette. What's up, Julie? How you doing? Yeah, busy bee. Alright, what we'll do is we'll screenshot this one, and then we can maybe come back to it should we need it. Oh, that's not what we want to do. There we go. I'm very good, thank you, Julie. I'm very, very good. Although I'm knackered. I've just had a wee little nip. So we'll see how this goes. Quite like those colours. They're quite nice together. Let's screenshot this one as well. Again, they got that kind of sort of retro look to it. Vinny says, the second I joined Patreon, I ripped the bonsai video. Was hyped to see it after we talked about it last time. Was it that was when you were last in the stream? Damn, that was a while ago. I don't even know what tutorial number that was now. We're up to what, 43, 44 on Tuesday, I believe. Oh, Milo says, Joel, I tried the part of the explore in the app. There's more palettes there. What is explore then? Is it in here? Oh, explore. Oh, cool. See, I've not even used it that much, you can tell already. Wow, okay, this is cool. And there's more colours as well, that is cool. So what if we set this to say, oh, okay. Milo, I appreciate you. Look how cool this is. So we've got some really nice filters here, so we can probably find something really close to what we need. Let's find something most popular. Let's see what's up here. Obviously a retro one at the top. That's a very common one. These two are very common. Love this palette. That's a beautiful palette. That one's quite nice. So if I tap on them, what are we going to get? Are we just going to get it on the screen? Is it going to do open in the generator? Oh, okay, cool. Oh wow, that's a beautiful palette. This is a nice palette. Quite like this one. Ooh, got some nice darker tones in there. really like that one. That one's nice. But I do really like the one in the background. It's got a nice warm look to it. Ooh, what do we do? I think I quite like that one in the background. We'll screenshot that for a second. Let's keep scrolling through here while we've got a second. We're not in a hurry. This is some really nice warm tones here. I like that. So what I typically look for, to give you an idea of what I'm actually looking for, is a palette like this is perfect for a sense, because you've got 4 sort of what I would call main colours. Those main colours there are nice and easy to add on to like any main feature of your design, but I always want just at least one colour that's slightly like a darker tone. So like this one here, we've got the dark grey here. That gives you like a base colour, and then you can add all the colours on top of that. So like you imagine like a planet with that colour as a base, and then you added these colours on top, they'd look really cool. But you could also use this as, say, the land in a scene, and then that is the sky in the background, you know, like literally trying to plan out little things like that. Marie said you worked on your logo for a year. Oh, we're getting camera problems again. We're back. What's up, Takizia? How you doing? So let's see what else we got. This section here is sick. That's really cool. Ooh, this one's a really good palette. I like this one a lot. Open in the generator. That's got a real nice retro vibe to it, and I'm going to grab that one, I think. Let's how do I get rid of this? There we go. Let's crop this down to say there. And then, so that's what I'll do. I'll just take a screenshot, because I know I can just drag and drop it into Procreate afterwards. So I'm just going to quickly just flip that around while I do exactly that. Let's go save the photos. Let's go to Procreate. So it's going to be kind of very closely based to what we just saw a second ago, that mock-up, just as a bit of a practice for something to do. And let's get the photo of the palette in. Cool. And we'll go back. Emily says, yes, burnout caught me multiple times this year alone. Honestly, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. At the minute, my burnout is really on the horizon. But at the minute, I'm refusing to let it intervene, you know, to have its way. So especially, like, I guess it's the same with all of YouTube, isn't it? To be forced to be creative because of consistency, it's quite a tricky thing to manage, isn't it? So, whoa, it's yeah, definitely something tricky that I'm trying to manage. But we're all good. We're all good. Right, so let's just do like a rough sketch so we can plan out a scene first. Let's make a palette actually as well. Create a palette. Marie says, I'm hoping YouTube is listening to us and gives us a vacation mode option. That would be cool, so you could literally just check it on and then your channel would show as on vacation, so at least people know that's why you've not uploaded that week. Or so I guess you could they would argue, well, you can make a post and let your followers know, but is that a bit too dark? I don't think I put both lights on, so it might be a little bit darker than normal. Is that better? That looks a little bit better. It's actually nice, and it's actually picking up the colours correctly for a change, which is good. Right, let's roll with that. You can just see. Right, so let's do a very quick sketch. So I want to follow suit with that last one. So we can do a couple of things. What I want to basically do for this design is try and do something that's quite heavily based around kind of like a Saturn style planet. So if I draw a sketch of like a ring, a planet, should I say, and just say position that in the center for a sec, and then we create the rings. So again, just a very quick sketch at this point, just to plan out the design. So if we do it vertically to start with, and then grab our cursor, we can then adjust this to fit this. Joel, is the audio low or is it me? I can turn it up. It has been turned down. How's that? Is that better? Everybody prepare just in case your eardrums start to go out. Let's That's nice for scale. That looks pretty cool. Then maybe either we put the horizon line in behind the planet, so have it literally sinking into water. So you could quite literally mask this and have it like sinking into the water, which would be kind of cool. So a little bit something like this. Mask this too. The rings would fall a little bit in front because they're a bit closer to us in the camera. And then also let's just get rid of that one just so we can get more of a visual. So it could be like that, and could be like sinking into the water, some sort of scene like that maybe. But that makes it look really small in terms of its scale, where I think if we put it behind the horizon, it could look a lot bigger and grander. That's kind of the impression I want to give. So a little something maybe like this. So let's just imagine for a second. I know it's just a sketch for a minute. But from here we can mask that. Just to better give ourselves an idea. Sometimes this is good for just working out your composition, because if you get too into it and start getting into the details too quickly, you've not got enough time to readjust it afterwards, or you've maybe gone literally too far with it and you can't go back on yourself. Maybe a little something like that. Ourselves a little bit here. I don't know what just happened there. No, do you know what? That's actually fine. We'll just deal with that for a minute. It's just a sketch. What's up, Wendy? How are you doing? Thanks for dropping in. And then maybe down at the front here we go to sketching. Am I seeing my camera just in the corner of my eye just going a bit nuts? And then maybe here we just do some sort of what's that place in the States that you call it? You know, it's kind of like this sort of rock where it's very sort of straight down, and like this very sort of vertical rock. We did a tutorial on it very similarly over on Patreon. When it says I'm good, only a little bit tired. How are you? Well, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one. We could maybe move this up a little bit. And maybe even make this one a little bit bigger too. In fact, let's make that even bigger. Sit maybe like that. That horizon line seems way too high. I don't know what layer I've even put that. Oh, it's on that layer. That's why I'll keep moving it up with the horizon. Let's erase that from this layer. And maybe draw in a horizon that runs, say, through here. That's already looking quite cool as a scene. It's the masks, isn't it? Let's just delete the masks for a second. Ooh, and it's central. I like that. I like that. So if we maybe you merge all of those together for a second, and we just let's mask it. Let's grab our selection tool and just mask out this bottom area. Bingo. Then I am thinking that maybe this is water here, because I want to follow that kind of cool ripple effect, which is what was in that previous one. But I think this could be quite nice. Now the thing is we're gonna have to like stick with this palette, the one on the left hand side. So I'm going to keep that on the left hand side for you, and see how we can maybe integrate that in. I'm thinking maybe these three here that we can use these three here maybe as the land here, but then the planet's going to be green and yellow. It's an interesting combination. It's not my favorite, but I think that could look fairly cool. Mr. Charlie is pestering me beside me. I don't know if you can see a shadow moving in the background. Right, okay, I quite like that. And then we got to kind of pick a style. I'm thinking I like the dust brush quite a lot. People love the dust brush, and it would always do really well in a YouTube video anyway. So I think we'll do something like that. And I think we'll try and integrate these colours as well into this. And then maybe the highlight colours are the greens and the yellow maybe. So we'll see how it goes. But overall, I quite like that sketch as a template. So we're going to collapse that down and get to work on it underneath. And let's move the palette up to the top. I'm thinking then maybe like, you know, something else up here, maybe another little planet here or a planet in the corner. Nothing to take away from this though. But the main focus is to do with these three items, and then I want to then do the reflection underneath and see where we go from there. So let's go with that. So let's grab this color here and let's start working on the nearest ground. Now this set of brushes I'm going to use, we could use monoline. I'm going to use this one here. This is in the tutorial that's coming on Friday. So it's a really awesome brush set of just line brushes, but they're very, very fun to use, and they do some really nice effects. Let's duplicate that group a second, turn that one off and just flatten that one and lower the opacity right down. So I've got it as a guide. And then let's maybe keep something maybe like this. Nice. And this is meant to obviously be like a planet of some sort, so it's not meant to replicate anything with us as such. It's similar to I can't remember what the park is called, but it's very similar to like the cowboy design that we did over there. And I think we'll get rid of a lot of this colour in the end anyway. But for a minute we're going to draw it in as it is. Did you also know that I believe is this option here? Oh, where is it? You can do the pop out, can't you? How do you do the pop out of a canvas, or palette should I say. There was an option to do it. Is it card and you drag the card on? No. Anyone remember how to do that? How do you get the palette to fall onto this? Oh, sorry, grab the handle. There we go, sorry. Right in front of me. There we go. We can keep the palette on the screen at all times then. Can we scale this down? No. So we'll stick it over here so I can just jump between the colours. Wendy says, do you have some recommendations for watercolour tutorials? I want to learn to draw watercolour house portraits on Procreate. I'm trying to think who was the special guest who did the watercolour design on my channel. Boo Studios, was it? I think it was Boo Studios. She did a lot of tutorials that were watercolor based, so she was a special guest Wendy on my channel. So when we help out a channel that's up and coming, so that might be worth a nice little visit over there. But as for someone else, I'm not too sure, but I'm sure somebody in the chat might be able to help us out with that one. Boo, so BOO Studios, again did a lovely watercolor design on my channel. Okay, so the planet, and then we'll do the rings around the outside. But I think I want to work on the composition a little bit. I think this needs to be a bit more off to the right hand side, maybe ever so slightly lower, and then also maybe this side as well needs scaling down and moving just a little bit off to the left. That gives more space here for the reflection that's ultimately going to be there. I'm thinking we get started on the planet and start to add in some cool little bits on here. So what I'm thinking of doing is we're going to go back up to this brush here, the line art one, and using just these colours to start with, we're going to create some cool curves. Now I want to actually do them manually where they flick out at the end like this, so I'm going to have to draw them all in manually, and we're just going to add in some cool curves, and we've got to match the curvature perfectly, otherwise it's going to look a little bit odd. But I'm sure we could just adjust it afterwards to match if we needed to maybe warp. So maybe it's worth doing straight lines actually instead, and then warping them afterwards. So a couple of lines that just run across the and what I might do is actually go to the canvas and turn on a drawing guide just so I can see the lines, just to make sure that what I'm drawing is close to horizontal as possible. And then we're going to thicken some of these up with some additional lines in here. We could do the standard procedure of the you know, the liquefy effect, but I feel like I've done that quite a bit in the past. Maybe we do. And then let's just fill in some gaps. But obviously I've done planets a million, like, well, what feels like a million times. What's up, Sissy? How are you doing? How's life with you? What's new? And when he says, also found Kelvin at Drifter Studio. He's doing things I want to learn, but some tutorials are a little too fast. Want more tutorials like that. Fair enough. I've not heard of him personally, but We'll check it out afterwards though. It's always a good to have some recommendations. Okay, that's kind of nice for a second. What we'll do is we'll rotate this. We can rotate that round. Because I didn't do that full width, we're going to have to do it something like this. And it needs to match the angle that we're going to do the rings on as well. But we'll add some cool effects into here, like let's mask it, and then let's switch our brush to the dust brush. And then let's just mask out some of the edges, which will just start to run in some cool texture. See how that, using a mask, you can start to add in really cool little effects like this, which looks really cool. Cool effects that look really cool. Listen, I've just woken up, right? Then let's try and see if we can integrate this green in some way. Whether or not we alpha lock this and just start. Now see the green. Is that actually that dark? No, that's not that dark. Yeah, we're on the layer. So the green looks kind of cool because it sits there. What would that look like if it was down this end? No. Let's try this instead. Brush in some green from this side. That looks a bit too strong on that side, so maybe we try the opposite and we put the green underneath here instead. So they're kind of, that looks really nice because those lines are a little bit more subtle. So if I zoom in, you can barely see it, but the green against the yellow looks pretty cool. That looks nice. What we will do is try and integrate these darker tones because they kind of match the palette. And I think if we made another layer at the top and then light source is top left, so we can just create some really cool texture down here. Trying to block in some more color and then switch it. Oh, sorry, to I just apologized to Procreate. I went up to the palette, watch this little window just pops like that, and I apologize. I apologize. Okay, and then add in some more cool color around the side. That looks nice. Happy with that. That was about 40%. I think we can maybe make that a little bit bigger and get some bigger specks in there. That looks nice, looks really cool, and that's the look that I want to go for the exact rest of the design. Then the only thing we'll do is we'll switch back to the yellow. And then on the same layer, just give this planet a little sort of brighter edge on that side. I don't want to do anything necessarily with layer effects, so actually we'll leave that as is. The green's nice and subtle, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. That is cool. Let's do the rings next. So let's create a new layer. So let's that's right. Let's use the ellipse, I think, and we'll use the green. Maybe a little something for size like that. Grab the cursor. Although it may be easier to cut it out straight away, actually. That color looks nice, the inversion of the green. What's the color palette app again? It's Coolers. COOL. Is it LO or LE? Don't know if they've got like a quirky spelling of their own app. Maybe that. So let's tap on this, let's select it, and let's clear it from there. Delete that. Grab this, rotate this, and run that through there. That looks cool. Trying to make sure that this kind of dot, the node there, just kind of runs through at the right angle. I think that looks good. And then we'll grab select this shape, go back to this layer, and we'll just straight up erase it. We don't need it. Beautiful. There we go. That's looking cool. So what we're gonna have to try and do for this one is I want to try and do kind of the same effect I've done here, but you don't want to be drawing like rings round. That's never gonna work. So you're gonna have to like draw lots of mini rings around it, and I've done it again. All the mini rings around it. So you have to draw an ellipse, I think, like this. Grab it. Oh, not on the same layer. I'm going to create a group here. Keep this contained. So I'm going to draw in a ring like this, and then we're going to have to grab the freeform option and just match this angle wise. I think that is the best way to do this. Trying to think of the best way to get the lines in here, because if we zoom in, I want to like create that kind of effect again, like here. I'm trying to work out the best way that I could do that. So maybe if I clip that ring to it, what does that look like? That matches ish. I want to simplify this bit of the design so that when others do it, because this will no doubt be a tutorial at some point, I want to always try and simplify it to try and make it a little bit easier and cut a little bit of the process down where possible. Let's make this one really large and push this right to the edge, because this doesn't match. So I think if you were going to try and attempt this, instead of doing the rings at the same time while they're at the angle, the best way to do it would actually be to draw it while it's all upright. So I think I'll do exactly that. Let's undo all of it, go all the way back to the point where the ring that we create is cut out of. That's fine, it can be cut out. What is the best way of doing this? Okay, it's actually to probably let's go forward a step and then bring both of these right to the front. So at this stage, I think is the best place to do it. So what you do is, what I'm trying to work out is to get those line effects the exact same and to follow the sort of continuation of the style, is you need to get the lines in at this stage by the looks of it, and then just edit the whole thing and tip it on its side and whatnot to match the perspective. So if we do something where it's like that I know that center area is going to get cut out. So instead then what we do is we can go ahead and maybe make another duplicate of the ring, invert that again, yeah, this definitely needs simplified if it works, and then do this where we cut out a perfect ring from the center. So select this shape, back to this one, clear it, delete that, and invert that. Okay, cool. then scale that down in size, and then that matches the curvature of that those rings perfectly. That's cool. Right, and then we just duplicate this down a few times and create the cool rings running through there. You can do some nice close ones together. Scale that down again. Maybe make this one a little bit closer. So you can see now it perfectly matches. It looks like it fits perfectly, if that makes sense. And then afterwards we can adjust all the angles a little bit more. Let's duplicate this a few more times, get in more and more detail on it. That looks cool. So just literally randomly making it smaller every time. Okay, cool. So those rings now I can do the exact same texture thing with. So this middle one here, this massive one here, we select that and we clear it from the center of here and then actually delete it. And then all of those rings, we pinch them together onto one layer. We clip it also, and then we can select both, grab our cursor, zoom out, rotate that round, there we go. And now that matches up to the ring there, and maybe you would grab, say, the distort option and maybe try and sort of thin that out around the other side. So we make that a bit bigger. You can see there it gets thinner here and nice and thick here, so that you add a little bit more detail on this side. Just flattening that off, giving that a little bit more perspective. That looks really cool. Like that. There we go. So the purple is only temporary. If we drag this back down to here, we don't want that to clip, but we want to select this shape. We want to get back to here, and we want to erase this back area using the eraser. Funnily enough, let's just erase all of this. There we go. Cool. And then if we switch it back now to match up to the palette, we alpha lock the rings and change the color to the yellow. That now fits. The green looks okay, but could probably look better as a different tone, maybe this darker tone. They look quite nice together. We can maybe just add in that texture in a second anyway. So let's do that first. Let's mask this. Let's turn off the alpha lock just in case that makes a difference. Go back to the dust brush, and let's start glossing over the whole thing to start with, just to add in some cool texture. Let's really get rid of it around the back area where the sort of debris, is it debris? It's like all rocks, isn't it, all the way around. Gets a little bit darker around the outside, and then we can just maybe just darken that up just towards the bottom here as it just sinks around. And then I think we'll do the same trick we did last time, where on this layer we'll go to the green and maybe just add in some green under there. Was that the right spot to add that into? Who knows? And then let's see what we can do. So maybe on the rings themselves we darken them up. Oh, that's green. It's not the darkest tone. No, that doesn't look very nice. We'll keep trial and error in this and see where we get to. I think I'm not too sure about the green. Let's try and fill that with the orange maybe. What's up, Stephen? How you doing? Draw like me. Draw like in one of your pictures. Draw me like in one of your pictures, Joe. What do you mean? Hey, stop it. That looks nice like that in the distance. It's just here I'm not liking the look of it too much. I think it looks kind of cool down here, and then maybe we add in the green maybe just on the edge. That does look kind of cool from a distance. I'm not sure. Let's see if we can maybe or do we select this and actually erase it from the rings and do something like that? I can see how that would look better, because that would look a lot more look a lot closer to, you know, more realism in a way. What do we reckon? Do we reckon leave it like that and filled in, or erased to an extent and maybe we'll adjust it? Oh, I see what you mean, from Titanic. I got you. You like the erased look, CT? I think it looks better overall, doesn't it? I think it just needs a little something in the gaps. Erased. Okay, so the only thing I'll do is I'll invert this mask to black, unclip that for a second, so that on the mask I can switch this out to white, and then just, white. This seems to be really dodgy. Look, can you see that? If I double tap to white and then start painting, it jumps straight to black. Right, let's get rid of you, because I don't feel like it's successfully changing the colour as I want it to. There we go. And then maybe just a little light gloss in there with the dust brush. What do we reckon? Yeah, that looks loads better, doesn't it? That's the one. Nice, I like that texture, that's looking nice. Okay, so we've got, how did we do that? We did the rings before, we've erased them straight from the disc as well, but we kept the rings so that we could create a mask and colour that in. This is getting a little bit complex than I was anticipating, but it's all good. I'm unsure now as to whether or not to do the land on either side and just literally do something like this and reflect it underneath for a second to keep it real simple. We'll see how it comes out as a whole scene, and maybe we'll come back and minimize it a little bit more afterwards. So behind this landscape and behind the planet, we'll add in some colour in the sky, and I think this is where maybe the green will come into play a little bit more. That looks really cool as a background colour there. That adds in a lot. Let's turn off the drawing guide. And then maybe this colour here up in the top. That looks really cool, as in it adds in, let's turn off the sketch for a sec. That looks really cool because it adds in a lot more colour into the background and ties in the whole design to the palette, which looks pretty cool. So I think what we can do is, if I undo that again and we do that once again, so if very lightly gloss in that colour at the top. Whoa, let's do that again. I'm unsure about the green because I don't know if it goes against the colours a little bit. What's up, Kevin? How you doing? Do we do that in the background or not? The green looks like it's too much, whereas that little bit of colour of the maroony sort of red colour looks pretty good. And then maybe even the tiniest bit of yellow from the centre. You like the green, Marie? Pretty good. Just got home from the dermatologist. And you like the green. Okay. So maybe with the green we keep. Maybe we keep it. But maybe we use the darker one up here. And we grab the green and just very lightly, but more so towards the bottom here. You can get a bit brighter here on the horizon. That looks pretty cool. So we're going to reflect that into here, but not without headbutting the camera. It's these bits here. Do we bother keeping them? If we do, what do we do? Do we clipping mask to it? And maybe just highlight the edges of it. And maybe even set it to black. Keep it simple. I don't know. Let's try. Could even integrate the green at this stage actually instead. Interesting. That, or it's just the shapes are not right. Maybe this like literally needs to be like not uniformed, but grab say freeform and make that a lot taller and off to the side. Because I've not got a 2000 by 2000 canvas here. It's 2500 by 2000. And then obviously do the same on the other side. Let's just see what that looks like. And whether or not it's just the perspective of the scape that we've made that looks a bit odd. That can't be the water. That's not. That's too much. They look way too bright. Way too bright. I think if they're going to be used, we need darker alternatives than that. It's too domineering at the front for literally no reason. Apple update today. Which one's that? It's not 16, is it? Not yet. It's not out till later in the year. Or do we just not do that? Tell you what, for my own sake, we'll turn it off for a second. We'll go about reflecting this first. So we'll select all of these layers, including the background. We'll group them together. We'll duplicate the layer. Group even, flatten it together. Add that on top. Clipping mask that. And flip it. It looks a little bit, it's giving me a little bit of a golden snitch vibes. Just a little bit. And then what we can do is grab the distort maybe and expand this out at the bottom so there's a bit more perspective to it, and bring that in and down. The only thing you've really got to match is the corners here as much as we can. That looks about bang on. Holy shit. Sissy with a $49.99, it's $50 super chat to say just a little thank you for all you do and sharing your talent with us. Sissy, holy hell. Let's give you a yay in the chat. I appreciate you. What a wonderful gesture. Very, very, very generous of you. So I appreciate you. Jesus Christ. You must be... is it at the top there? Oh, it's Dobby still. Again, let's have another little round of applause. Oh, will the applause work? Don't want to work. We'll give you another yay. I appreciate you, Sissy. Much love. And I hope you and your family are doing very, very well. But also, you're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. Also, I'm sorry for swearing there. Oh, look how murky that looks, and just sort of... Don't think I like the adjustment that I made to this. This planet now looks really fat. Whoa. Hang on, I'm just getting to your message. Have had a few setbacks, but hopefully things are on track now. That's awesome. It's awesome that hopefully it's back on track, of course. Do there. Do we start to smudge it? Do we leave it as a nice reflection? Do we do the odd again, go back to using the oil brush and just scatter some of the detail? Oh, I'm erasing it. Oh no, I am smudging. Oh, it's alpha locked. Is it alpha locked? No, I'm on the mouse. Again, CC, I really appreciate it. It's a wonderful, wonderful gesture from you. I appreciate you. Very, very generous of you. Do we like the smudging? I think I like the smudging. CC, have you had much time to be drawing recently? Yeah, smudgy. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. Truth be told, I'm actually really liking... Yeah, okay, Sissy's actually beating me to it. I'm liking just leaving that kind of as it is. I don't think I want to do the landscape underneath. I think it's a simple enough design that you could just do something like this, but maybe, for example, I'm going to ditch the land. What did I just do? What did I just... Oh, I deleted that layer, which left that unclipped. I'm thinking we do the a little bit of extra colour that I was debating in the sky in the background. Or what if we do not much, but hopefully will now. Never imagine, never. Oh, okay. Sorry, I've never imagined a recovery process like this with my son. Ditch the land. Yeah, I'm all for ditching that. Now I want to use the dust brush to maybe draw in the stars in the background, because I don't want to add in something that's too what's the word I'm looking for? Too solid. I want it to be quite loose. And match the aesthetic of the rest of it, where it's nice and with the dust brush. I need something in between here, but it keeps snapping. There we go. So those ones are nice and far in the back. These ones can be nice and bright. We're good. We're all good. I think that looks nice. Do we dare add in... Oh, I've done it on that layer. What an idiot. Damn. I was thinking a little bit more colour onto these areas. So maybe down. Why is my... Look at my pen. Can you see that? Look at that little arrow. What the heck? Why is it only moving horizontally? Oh, it's assisted. There's just... And then maybe if we actually set that above that, and then is there a layer effect we can just hit quickly to give us some more brighter tones in that water? Let's leave it like that then. What do we reckon? Anything else? Or do we like the... I'm not sure about the extra colour we just added at the bottom and the top. Quite like the... There. So like that, or what it was before. Or do I go all in on the colour and literally just add in a bunch? Set that underneath and let the whole design have that kind of cool, or kind of like that. So what do we reckon, folks? Do we reckon use the black colour in the background like that? It's got a tiny bit of colour, tiny little bit of colour up in there, tiniest little bit, or do we go full on all in with the colour scheme and go to here? I've not done a design like that before. That's a bonus. you like both. Oh, come on, Milo. I need you. I need your decisiveness. I need your decisiveness. Let's go to here, maybe. Change the background to... or that tone. Jay likes the black. Oh, come on, is a what, this one? The sort of murkier tone. Yeah, you like this one. Amy likes this one. I appreciate that, mate. Amy. Okay. Okay, we did it. Okay, so the background color is this tone. That works out nicely. It uses up the whole palette. It's kind of cool. Looks a bit softer. Yeah, I think that too. Also, it's quite nice, isn't it, that it ties the whole palette together. There's a little bit of something down here which I don't like. It's okay, that looks nicer. Keep that all in the distance. Now, do I actually have a brush? I think I do. Underwater. Was it water? No. I had. Oh god, here we go. So we're gonna have to try and find all of this. Is it anywhere near here? Is it in imported? Oh, this one, water shimmer. Oh, if I have to try and find that, I'm gonna be there forever. Yeah, there we go. We're just trying some out. Let's just see what this could look like if we just add in a slight shimmer towards the center there and layer that on top somehow. I'm thinking actually if we clip that to that. Why is that? Oh yeah, of course. Let's see what we can come up with here. Like, that looks kind of cool, but again, you mentioned about the softness. Yeah, you could. No. Wrong layer. Let's erase from this one here, run the distance. Actually, erase the whole thing, and or do you leave it a bit brighter? So like a little something like that, maybe. Or we just do it manually, and which is probably a good idea, I guess. Is to go to painting again. I think it's turpentine we were using just before, and just brush in. I'm just trying to maybe think about just adding in some like some just brighter tones on top, just where like the lights, wherever that is, I don't even know where it is really in this design, is just kissing the top of some of these. I thought this was a bit of a Christmassy song then for a second. But then maybe we go to this layer, we mask it and just give it the tiniest little coat of the dust brush, just so it fits in with the rest of the style. Overall though, I actually really like the whole design. I love that, like you said, the softer look to it. I like the fact it's not got a black background. I think if we I like the fact it's not got a black background. I like the way that the only thing that's necessarily reflecting properly is the actual planet, and that's the only thing that's casting sort of the wave ripples. Obviously the sides were, but it keeps the whole design very narrow and very tight to the center. I don't want to add in another planet. I think that looks pretty good as it is. I think as a simple design, it looks quite nice, and I think could do pretty well on the old YouTube. Or what do we think we could adjust? No, overall, I'm very pleased. These colours look great, and I think maybe the only... maybe the water here, we introduce a little bit more of this orange, because those colours together in that planet look really... those colours in the planet look really good together, so I'm thinking maybe like a little brighter tone towards the centre could look pretty nice. It does definitely add in a lot more colour and looks a lot more vibrant, so I quite like that. We'll do that, and maybe in the background here, just in behind, maybe a little bit more of the warmer orange glow there that just sits in the back. Who said the T word? Did somebody actually say it? Oh no, I can't ban Sissy after she just whacks in a whopping $50 donation in the chat. What do you reckon? No, let's let the chat decide. This is like Rome now. Do we ban Sissy for 5 minutes because she said the T word? Or do we let her go with it on this one occasion? The public shall speak. I'm only joking, I'm only joking. I felt awful when I banned Cat that time. Just for a very brief period of time. That looks way better like that. That little introduction of the warmer orange just in the background there. I'm going to stop before I overdo it, because again I want to keep it simple for the old YouTube. That looks cool. See, I don't know whether to put this on Patreon then, because I haven't done... I'll think about it. We've done a couple of space themes on YouTube recently. It was friggin' funny. I felt so bad. Okay, one thing we will do, and I love doing this, is just seeing if we can grab the whole palette. I can't because I've got a glove on. Copy all. Paste. And let's go to hue, saturation and brightness and just see what other tones look like. Pink looks quite nice. Just a little hint of pink. So if I drop it down to say there, that looks really nice. Spin through that. Don't like purple. Blue's gonna look okay. Not the best. The only problem sometimes with doing the hue saturation is our palette here in the middle now has yellows, oranges, darker maroon colours, so there's a nice sort of, like, you know, hang on, there's a nice like triplet of colours there, but sometimes when you go to the hue slider and you go to here, all you're getting is what appears to be more of like a singular tone. It doesn't look quite as nice. Let's go the other way. Gold looks kind of cool. That looks really nice actually. Green, too much. But green though, I always feel like it goes a little bit too strong and then you can just drop the saturation down, but you end up with obviously like a very murky sort of look to it. It's quite nice though, it's quite nice and moody. You could even drop the saturation down, or the brightness down quite a bit and mess around with it that way. Let's go back to green into, let's just see if there's a blue variation that we can get that looks quite nice. Like, that looks kind of cool. But again, we don't want it to look too close to what the other one looks like, which is why I think this one looks particularly nice like this. What if we did just roll through the layer effects, the top one? I get asked this quite a lot, and it is a video I'm going to make, so don't worry if you've asked it before, about what the blend modes do. But typically everything, you start on normal, and then you got everything above, so darker color, linear, burn, color, burn, darken and multiply will all do something that make the design slightly darker, or the layer you're adding the effect to, the content underneath it will appear darker. This is the thing to try and bear in mind. It is a layer, and the whole layer is going to be affected by what is underneath it, if that makes sense. So typically everything from darker color upwards, of course, is going to make a slightly darker version, and then lighten pretty much down to lighter color will of course do a much lighter variation. Everything from overlay through to, I would say, probably linear light. So overlay to linear light will do something regarding sort of saturation, and that would, make everything a bit more punchy. And then these ones down here tend to sort of do their own thing. Like, look how sick that looks, but it would never make a very good design to base it off of. And color is cool because color allows you to paint and it just change the hue and saturation of just that particular item, which would be cool. So actually looking at these ones, multiply looks pretty sick. Too dark though. That looks nice and aggressive and quite moody. And then get the lighter versions. We don't want to go any lighter than what we've already got. That looks like it's on fire. Lighter color looks okay. Also, I've just noticed I think my screen's just turning. Yeah. Overlay looks cool. You get a lot more red in there. Also, I just want to change that back to normal for a sec because my screen changed, so I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right thing. I think I am. Overlay, nothing colourful. Soft light looks pretty good. Could maybe just lower that down a little bit, get a bit more contrast in there, if you want to go with that darker look. And let's just quickly just roll through the rest of them. Oh no, I think that's it. So we'll have a look and see what we ended up with there for a second. So Marie says, how it all blends is awesome. Jay says, but I don't think we have to tell Joel that we want the T word. He already knows what we want. Most of the time on live streams, they always end up at tutorials anyway, don't they? Marie says, yo Joel, I have an extra Logi if you need it. I would love it. That's far too far to be shipping that. It costs you about £1 bazillion to do it. Or quid. Not quid, dollars. John Plays is here. How you doing, John, or Lawrence? Depending on which one is here. It's a joint account. And Jay says, so many options, can't choose. That's yeah, I find that all the time. I just don't know which one to pick. Amy says, gotta go now, time for work, catch you guys later. Amy, I appreciate you dropping in, hanging out, and also for your input earlier on with, I can't remember which topic it was, but appreciate you being here. Cool. Very, 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 very pleased with that one. That looks really cool. Again, so just if you've just joined, I used the Coolers app. So if you've not used this before, this is the Coolers app, and you can find palettes on here, and then you can bring them. Well, you could screenshot them and drag them over into Procreate, and then you can create a design off of it. The cool thing with this app, and that Milo explained, is so when you first open the app, you get this page here, and you can just hit generate. Well, by the way, not affiliated with this company in the slightest, it's just a very cool app.
you will get 5 colours. I don't know if you can adjust this and refine it to maybe... it would be cool if you could actually specify that you want more colours. Oh, and you can rearrange them. Can we specify if we want any other... Do we know this? Anyway, you can just heat generate, but as Milo said, if you grab this little menu here in the bottom right and bring that in, you can bring out this one here. So by default it'll be library, so you can save your palettes in here. But otherwise you can go to explore, and they've got little cool filters at the top here, so you can see popular, latest, trending, can pick a color tone. Let's go pastel. Whoa, look at these, beautiful. What else we got? Vintage. Oh, wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. See, they're all very when you look at all of these are all very greeny, orangey colours, so there's quite a lot in there that is they're very similar to each other, these vintage ones. What's up, Kat? How are you doing? We were just talking about you, actually. Literally just talking about you, about how we were speaking about when we practiced the banning of somebody in the chat and timed you out for 5 minutes because you said the T word. Right, let's go back up. What's up, Betha? What is that app? This app is Coolers. Would somebody mind, Milo? I think you've already grabbed this link before, if you don't mind. If you have the link to the app, well, actually, I could do it. Oh no, I can't share it in my chat. Or can I? How far? Oh, it's not going to go to my... general. Are you on my Betha? Are you on my Discord server? Or if anyone on the Discord server could copy that link and paste it into the YouTube chat, that'd be wonderful. But otherwise, it's called Coolers. C-O-O-L-E-R-S. Is it? Is it E-R-S? But yeah, generates nice little random palettes for you. This vintage section is very, very cool. And somebody just pointed that out. It was Marie. It was a long 5 minutes because it also, for me as well, because I didn't know what it was going to do. Okay, cool. So vintage, monochromatic. That's cool. Oh, I love... There's something really satisfying about looking at set palettes because, especially if they're nice tones, like these ones here that run into like a white always look really cool, catch my eye. But again, talking about what we were saying earlier, what can a palette actually give you? This palette here, for example, you've got the dark tone here, which could be like the foreground, and then these tones here afterwards, which are maybe like the background of a scene somehow. Yeah, maybe like trees or something like that. Which actually we could probably maybe whip up a very quick design such as that. I'm not sure. Oh, what's Kat saying? Right. It was long one for Jolty. It actually was. It was awful. Okay, let's keep looking through here just to see if anything captures my eye. Always the flipping blue ones, the teal ones always catch my eye. Started to realise that that's probably my favourite colour at the minute, like a teal. I have to sometimes try and steer away from using it in designs too much. Does anybody remember the Space Invaders design we did? It was, I think did I draw it on live stream or I've shown it on stream before? definitely drawn it on stream, I think. But the Space Invaders design, if you're around for that stream, is going to be next week's YouTube tutorial. And we've got one more left to go on Patreon this month as well, if you're also interested. There's one more to go up, which could be a nice neon design. That'll be up next Tuesday. So a little while off yet. Let's have a look and see if we find gradient could be quite cool. See how they transition the colours into each other. What I want to know is how are they adding in more colours? How can you create a palette with more colours? Oh, you can do export. You can export it straight to Procreate. Just 2 seconds. Let's just see how this actually works. Okay, so it gives you a pop-up. And then you can just share straight to Procreate. That's pretty cool. Ah, I've worked it out. So I've got it now. How do you add more colours? So I've got 10 now. If you tap on the palette, you'll get the option to remove colour, and you can tap on it to remove even more colours. But when you tap on add colour, how many do you want to add? You can add up to a certain amount, and that would be, oh, okay, go pro to generate more than 5 colours. That makes sense. What else do you get for this? Generate palettes with more than 5 colours. Save unlimited colours, schemes and colours. Organise them. Remove ads. I've not even seen an ad, I don't think. $3 a month. For something like this, I would say, like, you should probably make it a single time purchase, not a monthly subscription, but it makes sense. I know, I understand why. It's my job to understand why. My day job, anyway. That's very murky. Sorry, I wanted to continue looking through the palettes here on the left. So it was gradient we were in. Let's go for trending. That's a super, what gives me like some streamer vibes. These ones up here, kind of pastel colours. Vintage. Oh, look at that. This gradient here screams landscape to me. That like each green there correlates to like maybe a blue that's the shading colour. It reminds me of the design I drew. Let me switch to it so you can see what it is I'm referring to. Let's chill that music down a little bit and go back to here where we did this one. It reminds me of this palette in a sense of then having like the green colour on the top, and then you could use the blue underneath as well. That could look pretty cool. Monthly sub apps are the worst, or worse. Intense. Yeah, I know that music was. It was a bit upbeat. I kind of like the chill vibe though. I think I used to have the music pretty intense, then it was pretty high tempo. I don't really know how else to describe it, but everybody liked the change when we switched it to more of a chilled vibe, and I do as well. Makes it quite nice to listen to when I'm drawing. Okay guys, I've got a couple of questions actually. One is firstly, do we like the tea or do we not like the tea? It's like a random tie-dye kind of look to it. It's nice and big and baggy. What do we reckon? Or do I just look like a hippie? I'll let you answer that question first. Can you stop? Oh wait, people can't see you. Look, no, look. There we go. People can see you now. No, you're come this way. Whoa! Yeah, sweetie. I need to know some answers to some how-to questions. So if you were just starting out on Procreate, not even just starting out, okay, that was getting a bit too hyper. If you were starting out on Procreate, you can drop me a message on these if you want to, otherwise, but, oh, so good boy. Daisy, come here. Daisy, up. Oh, jeez. What else is it? I presume you're talking about me, Jay. But how-to questions, so like how to do like how to do things in Procreate, no matter how simple they are. So like how to do X, Y, and Z. So have a think if there's something that you think of that's like super simple, because I forget about all the things that are actually probably you know, to a newcomer is probably really you know, it's really, sorry, to us is, you know, people that have used the app for a while, they, you know, you remember how to do all these sort of things, but when you're a newcomer, what are things that took a while to like know, sort of thing. And yeah, Kat, I think I spotted a second ago you said about your new badge. What's that, the 6 month badge, the bronze one, and then a year is silver. And I think now as well, in the chat, Kat, you can actually, well, anybody, every month when you hit a new level, in the chat you can actually sort of hit a button and it lets me, like, sends a little message into the chat and reminds me of, you can sort of nudge me and remind me of your new monthly tier. The shorts vids works. Is that the one that I posted today for early access? There we go. Marie has been a member now for 9 months. You can do your little nudge there every month now, isn't it, Marie? You mentioned. Showing you what you can do with the selection tool. Okay. Anything in particular there, Sissy? So just like Marie's done there in the chat, anybody who's a member for a period of time, you can send a little nudge sort of in the chat to celebrate your current month of being a member. Agreed with City. Okay, that's quite interesting. So what other context then? Kevin says, bye guys, working on... Work is summoning me. Kevin, have a great day, my friend. See you again next week, I hope. Sissy says, erasing or clearing one thing from another. Erasing or clearing one thing from another. Okay. So making a selection of, say, a rectangle and cutting it out of a layer. What are you doing? I'm at work. I don't know. What do you think you're doing? You should be up on the desk. What? The cat's been a member for 11 months. Your badge is about to change to a silver one. Like you did with the rings. Okay, that's kind of cool. Good idea. So how to... So the things you could do, how to... I'm trying to think of... I don't want to make a video that's too long. So how to use the selection tool to erase. or how to use a selection tool to create a shape to colour in, sort of thing. I'll have a think about that one. Or alright, so using selections to cut. Okay, that's quite an interesting one. I want to keep the videos really short, so if you're a super or superstar supporter, you would have seen that there's early access to a video that went up, I think it was today, about just copying and pasting. I'm going to create a lot of how-to videos that are going to be a minute long, probably maximum. Very short, very straightforward and straight to the point of how to do certain things, because there's a whole sort of catalogue of things that I want to try and cover, no matter how simple they are. So they may not be for everybody. You may already know a lot of it already, but if you're new, it's a very good. So what I'm trying to say is very long-windedly, obviously, is me personally. If I need to answer a question, I'll Google it, and if it comes up with a set of YouTube videos that fits, I'll pick the shortest one. And I want to do exactly that. I want to just do a singular thing, so a singular problem, and provide the solution very quick and easy. So how to copy paste is one. That's going to be up probably Sunday. I don't know. Depends on when I want to push the button. Something like that. I've got other ideas as well of things that we can do. I don't want to give them away just yet, but any other suggestions you can think of at any time, just drop me a message on Discord or Instagram or anything like that. We'll go from there. That'll help out a lot. I think I put a story up yesterday about it. I know, 11 months, that's such a long time to be a member. I didn't even realise I'd had memberships for that long. I didn't. Somebody must be at 12 months now then. Someone has to be, because I think it was you and somebody else were right at the top, but they were just ahead of you. Who would that be? I think it might be Mark. Marie says, I like your font or text videos. They always do quite well, to be honest, in the long run. What's up, Elizabeth? How are you doing? How's your day? Because I actually use them daily. What, the text ones? Wonder if I should bring back Text Tuesday for like a period of time. Let's just switch this around. You don't need to see all of me all the time. Let's just quickly flip that round. Let's go back up to what we were working on today. Just for a sec. Switch that around. You like the last text video? He's doing quite well actually. Again, it's like really interesting because I want to, in my designs, I constantly feel like I need to try and keep pushing the boat out. How much more can we do? How much further can we go with the design? I realise sometimes just the simpler ones just do very well. Very straightforward. This song never plays. Always leaves me hanging. There we go. What's up, Mia? How are you doing? How to create a custom palette. That might be a good one to do. Maybe the Coolers app is a good video to make quickly. Palettes made easy with Coolers. That's probably a very good little video there to make. Keep it nice and simple. What's up, Michael? How are you doing? Hi everyone. Finally got in from work early to catch the live. Oh, it's not the best timing, but you're here. I might be wrapping it up. Well, not yet. Not yet. Maybe, I mean, you just spoke about a text-based. Let's maybe see what we could maybe do. Well, I don't know. Let's literally just mess around for a second and just see if there's anything. No, that's a huge canvas. Why did I do that? 2,000 by 10,000. Let's use this one.
More animals? Anyone? You want more animal-based designs? What did I do recently that was animal-based? I wonder what text-based content we could do then. Like what? Oh, hang on. This was actually one that I did a while ago and I never actually did anything with. Where's it gone? Camera is absolutely hating the detail, because if I zoom in you can see it's actually got a dot pattern matrix in it, so when you zoom out cameras don't really like that too much. But if I make that as big as possible, I made this but never did anything with it. Also it kind of looks a bit fuzzy on the screen above, and again I don't think it's picking it up correctly, but if I zoom in on the letter, that's what it actually looks like, and it's all done using effects rather than like halftones, as Maria was just saying there, rather than like drawing. None of those dots are drawn in. Off the top of my head I can't even remember how I did it, but that is something we could do. It's a pretty cool font as well. Okay, so Sissy says there, wow, that was messed up. Oh, sorry, hang on. Wait. Marie says, I need to know why my palette from an image never is the true colours. It's annoying. I never use that feature. It's cool, but I never use it. There's a few things in Procreate that I don't use that are cool features, but I don't know, I feel like sometimes they're just, how can I put this? Updates to say there's updates in the app. The whole 3D, can you remember the whole content of talking about 3D? 3D is, oh, you know, this update's mad, you know, we've got 3D everything, and as far as I was concerned, the whole sort of creator space was just going mad about it. You know, oh, we'll be able to paint in 3D, like we'll be able to draw. I don't see anybody doing them. I haven't done a single 3D based tutorial. It's cool for what it is, and it covers like the tiniest little market of like designers who are good at 3D works, but they maybe don't like using Photoshop and are more comfortable with Procreate, so therefore want to use the drawing experience, of course, with the pen and stuff. Makes sense. But like, again, it's just an update to add in, and no one does it. The only person I saw do anything with, and I think it was Tatty, was the Converse. Makes sense because loads of people customize Converses, and there was a 3D Converse and you could colour in on the side. But other than that, I don't see anybody doing it, because most of the time in the 3D render apps, the people that have use those apps colour in their majority of the time. They colour in that program. They wouldn't export it just to bring it in here into Procreate and then take it. I don't even know if you can colour it in Procreate and then re-export it back and send it back into your 3D render app, because then if you can't and Procreate's the finish line only, I'm not sure if that's the best, because you can't then make a tweak and you'd have to go back and forth. I'm sure you probably can, but it would seem silly if you couldn't. Oh, okay, sorry. So let me catch back up. I think, where do we get to? So that we were talking about the palettes there from Marie's comment, and then Sissy said, explained when you use the selection tool to and invert what it does, and then I think you readdressed that by saying, sorry, when you make a selection tool, just show the invert and what it does. Okay, got you. I'll answer that actually in a second. And Kat says, I love the text ones. I really liked the reindeer. Is that the sort of memoji looking reindeer design? Milo likes the vintage designs. Marie says they're the 3D thing. I never seen any videos on people using that option. Maybe one in the beginning. Yep. And Kat says, I liked the 3D option, but they don't have items I would like to edit design. So the thing is, they never, and kind of rightly so, there was never sort of a resource to say, here's a good website to go and download the 3D models from what I've seen, not in-app anyway. So I don't think many people then know where to go to get the models to bring them in. But you can search online for OBJ is the format, so ob.obj, and then you can bring those models, download them and insert them into Procreate if you ever want to have a look for them, but it's finding some on there. Milo says, I think the 3D thing is cool but not awesome. And Marie says, it's not awesome. I agree, Milo. And Milo says, artists who really like 3D working thing works in Blender. Exactly. And the Memoji, yeah. Do you know what I'm really looking forward to this year is seeing the works that I've done in the past. Ignore all of these are all sort of scraps. The works I've done in the past, see if they get a second wind in, let me just scroll down a little bit here so you can't see all the latest tutorials. The ones I've done in the past, see if they have like a second wind. So things such as the Memoji reindeer that we drew last year for Christmas. Really fun tutorial because it's like, you know, creating like a 3D fun object, really nice and soft. It's like it's got a real nice soft box at the top, lighting the reindeer. But I'm really interested to see how YouTube, because the channel keeps continuing to grow, how it will push the tutorials out later on in the year, especially for like Halloween. I'm most interested for is next Easter, where if I just scroll back up a little bit, where will this tutorial see another second wind and then continuously year after year? That would be very cool if it does. I'm sure it will, but we'll see. What's up, Fabio? How are you doing? Sissy says, another short video maybe is to explain Bloom. Just trying to think of things that I wanted to know. That's a good idea. Bloom is a really funny thing to use. Sometimes I don't understand its actual like how it actually works, for example. And why it doesn't work in some occasions but does in others. But it's a very, very good concept. I will definitely take a look at that one. Like the video before you will go. Yeah, that's a great point. The Halloween tutorials as well, especially the ones on Patreon. You know, will people, you know, I'm going to obviously repost them, but the ones that I did on Patreon, will they get, you know, a second wind? You know, we had more Christmas designs. We had the cool snowy one with the snowman, and it's using like can't even remember what brush this was. Was it like a charcoal? It was a charcoal brush. It was pretty cool. This one here, this one did pretty well. I love the palette. It's just again, this is the thing, and I keep saying this, is the simplicity of the designs is something I need to make sure I continuously think of. So like, just so straightforward, just simple little highlights here just to illustrate that there's hills here, but we don't have to paint the whole thing in. Very cool. Very happy with that one. We did the Memoji one, the Halloween ones. We had the bat from last year, of course. This one had some really nice, cool texture in it. Again, I think like a charcoal. It was. And the Halloween pumpkin, the frosted glass pumpkin design. These are all still on the channel, so if you like any of them and want to do them out of season, they're still there, obviously. We did the wolf one, we did the Gengar one. I don't think there's anything necessarily here that's then based on a season, I don't believe. No. Unless I jump back out of here a second and we show then the Patreon alternatives. The pumpkin one, that was cool. So scrolling back through here, will we get any love? Because I've not, you'll notice when I do throwback tutorials, I've actually skipped over the Halloween ones and Christmas ones so that I can post them at the correct times. So like this one, I love this tutorial. I think it's pretty cool. Nice strong glow from in there of the pumpkin.
we had the scary sort of purge mask. We also had the spooky season, which this is probably one of my favourite text-based tutorials. It's the way that the font looks really good in 3D. These lines here just add so much to the inside. Oh, I just spotted. Where's the mistake? Can you see there's a mistake? It's in the Y. There's a mistake in the Y, and I missed it. Can anybody spot it? The tip is not connected. M, M, and L. You are the first one. You have nailed it. It is this point here, this tip here is not connected. Slap on the wrist for moi. But yeah, it's the way that the font looks. It looks really cool. The glow out of it looks really effective because it uses every little crease in the outside of the font, and then you get the glow, ends up with all these really cool lines in it. Also, the contrast then of the green onto the actual letters in the background. You can see the green I managed to put onto the lettering here is just really nice, really soft. And the background's pretty simple, just a straightforward little set of trees with a sort of either the moon or, yeah, it would be the moon. Just probably one of my favourite tutorials I've done. And it's just a text one. That was one of my favourites. There was another Halloween one, wasn't there? Oh no, that was it. But Christmas ones, we've got the little elf, kind of similar to the Bemoji. I really like this one. This one was using the dust brush as well, so you can see all the texture in there, especially like in the eye. All the little dust in there. And this one did very, very well on the socials for like a reel, like an Instagram reel. And I think it's just the lighting. The lighting just looks so, it looks very on point. The lighting just down, and it just, I think the thing I kind of really enjoy with this one is I never used white for like any of this area. This is like a grey, and then this edge here is the only thing in white, which to me made it, because then we could add those really nice bright white edges and they look nice and crisp. Anything paper cut is pretty cool. I agree. I might get your opinion on another one in a second, but then we did the candy canes as well. I feel like you could turn this into like a little card or something, and then it's got the detail running through the ribbon. Yeah, we've got some. This is the cool thing, is like I've got this like library of things starting to really build up in the past and stuff, which is great. Can't go too much further. Yeah, very cool. Right. I did most of these tutorials. Yeah, bossing it, absolutely bossing it. Okay, cool. So let's just quickly take a quick look at what we finished with today, which was the singular design. We had some fun with it with the coolers palette, which is really good, and I might make a little quick video on that to create this design, which I'm very pleased with. Most definitely will probably be a tutorial pretty soon. Whether that be Patreon or YouTube, I do not know. I do not know. So again, if you think of anything like a how-to and then do X, you know, let me know, and I'll see if we can make maybe a video on it, see if it's something that we can add to the catalogue. But it's definitely going to be a lot of those smaller videos that are coming our way. I've got potentially some new products coming as well, which will be nice alternatives to the Sketchboard Pro. keep an eye out for those. They're probably, I'll let you know when they come anyway, but you'll see it on the socials and whatnot. But some nice alternatives. They're not so big, and give you that upright drawing experience. So I'm hoping that goes through correctly, and that's it really. That's it. So I'm gonna love you and leave you. Again, thank you so much for all of you hanging out. Sissy, thank you so much for your super chat if you are still here. And to everybody else as well, enjoy the rest of your days, your mornings, your evenings, your afternoons, whatever you're getting up to. Have a wonderful day, and I thank you all for hanging out. You are awesome, awesome people. I love that you want to hang out with me on your Wednesday nights and chill out with me and watch me draw and make a lot of mistakes a lot of the time. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your designs day. I'm going to love you and leave you. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you again next week. Hey, Scottish Joe, eh? Right, adios everybody.